going into Armada, like, how was it like in your first day, in the sense that, first of all, what's an A&R? For anyone that doesn't know what an A&R is, what's an A&R? And second of all, what's it like walking in that office thinking, I'm the new fuck, oh shit, like, all the nerves and that, like.
I guess as a DJ producer, as well as working in the industry now, unless you are working in the industry, you will never understand like just how much factors into these decisions. I just think a lot of people jump on a bandwagon because they think it's going to get them somewhere quickly. Yeah. It's so much more important to stay in your own lane and do what you want rather than trying to follow. It's interesting when people within the industry say to me like, oh, where were you before Armada? I'm just like, oh, well, I used to be a primary school teacher. That's like, wait, what? You need to, like, in order to get paid, you need to sell a certain amount of tickets, like sharing a link and stuff. And I'm just like, this isn't my job. I think now it's close to 1 million tracks are being uploaded every day to Spotify. Going to learn music tech for a year, I'd walk in like as a newbie and I'd walk out a superstar DJ. Like, genuinely, that's what I thought in my head.
That's why I wear a hat, mate, because hair's all over the place. Welcome back to another Roving podcast, and today I'm blessed to have Jamie Unknown. Thanks for joining me, Jamie. I know it's been a bit of we've been trying to line the stars for quite a while, but we've done it because you're a busy man.
Yeah, it must have been a couple of months, or maybe even early November that we first started chatting, didn't we?
Yes, mate, yeah. And also, what's that, sorry?
No, big ups for having me on, mate. I appreciate it.
Yeah, glad it's so good, man. It's good. It's good to get like, all kinds of people in the industry coming on, and your wealth of knowledge, obviously working for certain brands. We'll get into that, and like I do with all my guests, I just start with like yourself. Where you're from, where'd you grow up, what was school life like, and where did music sort of start for you? Your influences growing up. I know we brushed it in a brief conversation before. With our ages being very close. So, yeah, what was life like for yourself growing up in that?
Firstly, so I'm from Brighton on the south coast. Lived there the majority of my life. Went to school there and everything, and that was great. But like the funny thing is, I wasn't really into music from that young an age. I'd probably say when I was like 8 or 9. I guess that is quite young, but I guess like I wasn't at the time sort of taking it in as I was now. I guess my first introduction really was my dad. He had a massive like collection of CDs, like loads of like old rave stuff, Ibiza classics. And I think like most Fridays and Saturdays he used to have a drink, and I used to kind of just sit there and listen to it. Not really like appreciating it that much, but enjoying what I was hearing. I think as I got a bit older at school, loads of people we listen to like dubstep and stuff. I think like maybe when I was like 13, I sort of started to understand like what a hold music has on people, and also like I guess you'll know yourself, like there becomes like a popular thing to listen to at school. And I think actually, sorry, going back slightly, I'd probably say I started listening to like indie music and stuff. Like, I used to listen to like,
everyone went a bit of that phase, didn't they?
Like, I used to listen to like Block Party and like
MGMT.
Yeah, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like,
everyone done a bit of that, yeah.
Like, and I'm talking like probably when I was in like year 8 and year 9, and everyone was wearing skinny jeans and they had the Justin Bieber like sweeped hair. I think I started on that, and then realised that I kind of wanted to get in with some of the cooler kids. Then obviously my music like started to change, and then like everyone was listening to dubstep, and I fucking loved it. Like got into, what was it? Obviously all the early Scream stuff, but like, do you remember Mount Eden? Yeah, that's it. Like Mount Eden, Funk Case,
Flux Pavilion, Excision.
yeah, Roscoe, like all the early stuff, mate. Um,
Yeah.
but like, again, I don't think I was really appreciating it for what it was. I was appreciating it because it was a particular like era or thing at school. Um, but anyway, I think like I'd always carry around an MP3 player with me. Like I was addicted to listening to tunes. Um, and then like probably at the age of about 15, 16, just going into college, once I started to get like I had a fake ID and like I started to look at club nights in Brighton, Audio, which was like a renowned club, which used to be the Escape, where like Carl Cox, Fatboy Slim, people used to have residencies there. Like I started to look at lineups because I was like, you know, I can start going to these things. Um, and you'd see like people on the lineup like Dusky, Ben Pierce, Ways and Odyssey, like that, all that sound, all that era, that particular time. And then because I was seeing those lineups, like I would check out the music. And then I think that's where like I really started to develop proper passion for music, is like that whole like 12 to 14 house music era, like George Fitzgerald.
The best era, man. I
Hey,
still make music like it.
Honestly, yeah, literally.
Yeah.
And yeah, that like during college is when I was like, this is so good. Like, I love this. I started going to like parties. And then, yeah, I guess like that's kind of where like things like exploded, for me. Mate, I went to college. I did like law, politics, business.
Sure.
Don't know why I did it. I did it just to like, because I just thought it was a good look, when actually like I just failed all of them. And decided after that I'd go and do music tech at college for a year, and that's where my first sort of like experience of like making tunes like happened.
Yeah.
But I was shit at it basically.
Everyone's got to start somewhere, though, mate. Let's be honest, you know.
Yeah, no, exactly. But like naively, and you know, I hold my hands up here because I'd grown such an addiction and love for music. I thought that going to learn music tech for a year, I'd walk in like as a newbie and I'd walk out a superstar DJ. Like genuinely, that's what I thought in my head. I don't know why I thought that. Like I thought it'd be really simple. Maybe it was like Garage Band when you're in year 11 was like a piece of piss or something. But like, so I came out of that, didn't do that well in it because I didn't really invest my time properly. Like I'd turn up late and stuff. I feel like I'm waffling and telling you my life story here.
No, mate, it's what it's all about. It's good, man. Like, you know, because I got some embarrassing stories like to add to this, but yeah.
But, yeah, sort of came out of that, and I didn't really know what I was going to do at this point. I was twiddling my thumbs, and prior to this, when I was at Basvic in Brighton, they did like enrichment days or weeks where you go and spend time like in a workplace or something just to like, you know, get the experience. Classic me, I was useless. Like I hadn't signed up to anything. So my politics teacher Jess, she was like, "Why don't you come to my fiance's school? He's a teacher." I was like, "All right, fuck it, I'll do that then. I've got nothing else to do. Like I have to do this as part of the college." And I went to a school for a day to teach or like read books with kids, and I like enjoyed it. And then she just turned around to me and she was like, "You make a really good teacher." So I was like, "Yeah, fair." So I ended up going on to uni to learn teaching, so completely away from music, in Bristol, and don't really know why I did it. Like I enjoyed it, and I ended up teaching in Brighton for 6 years as a primary school teacher.
Oh, sick, mate. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I think everyone loves teaching stuff. Like I'm an electrician, and I have apprentices, and I think it's cool, like teaching people stuff because you feel like, you know, you're giving something back, didn't you, and getting paid for it, you know, and it's kind of cool. But I will say you're jack of all trades by the sounds of it.
But like, yeah, I mean, look, I like loved working with kids, and I think it shaped me to be the person I was today. But like over those 6 years, like the music thing was still in the back of my head. Like I was still thinking like, why am I not doing something in music? And the only reason that I never pursued something in music beforehand is just because I was always told by people, you know, people in my family or like the older generation that you'll never get a job in music because it's so saturated. Everyone, you know, so hard to break into, and it is.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I wish I just believed in myself a little bit.
Or they go, how's that music thing that you've been doing? Is it all right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are you
know,
making any money? Making any money
yeah.
yet?
Oh, it's so cute you doing that, isn't it? It's like, you need to do a little music
Like
thing.
that thing, was it from Breaking Bad? I think I've seen where he's like making tunes. But yeah, and like I still hadn't. I was making tunes a little bit from first year of uni, and even when I was teaching. But we're talking like I sit down like and bash something out 2 or 3 times a year just for like, fuck it, you know, I've got a bit of spare time, like, and then I get locked into something. But like, I never had the drive or never thought that like I would get anywhere with making music. I think, you know, because of what happened at in music tech when I did it at college, like I just struggled with it. And then lockdown happened, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I was still teaching, but like half days, a lot of it was online. And then in my free time, because I couldn't leave the house, do anything, I was just like, might as well make tunes. And then, you know, I guess after a solid like year during that period of everything that was happening, things started to develop, like my tunes started to get better. And then I actually just like thought, okay, I'm gonna, you know, give this a proper crack now. Signed my first sort of tune or 2 tracks to a label, QI UK, big them up because they're class for like supporting new artists. And yeah, I guess the rest is history in that respect, production wise.
Cool, mate. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, like I'm gonna go quite a way back actually.
Yeah, sorry, I feel like I was chatting for then, mate.
It's all good. It's a good introduction because it made me laugh when you said the Justin Bieber haircut. But talking about embarrassing moments, I rocked the fucking Liam Gallagher Oasis haircut back then.
Yeah.
I thought I was the groovy Fred Perry wearing groovy house DJ
like
back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, and I look back now, I'm like, what the fuck is going with that hair? So realistically, I'm your typical like chavvy at heart, right? You know, like you like the TNs, like
Yeah.
before. But going back to like music back then, yeah, like everyone was into a bit of dubstep, and you know, I was massively into garage with like MC Vapor was massive back when I was at school.
Yeah.
And all that sort of thing, and it's all coming back now, garage. Like, and I'm in North America. Garage, everyone's like, "Oh, I love that garage music. It's so cool." And I'm like, "Don't ever call it garage again." But they're like, "Oh, it's so cool." Like Sammy Virgie and Freddie again. I'm like, "Oh no. You need to listen to EZ. You need to listen to Mark Ryder, the old schools." You know,
honestly,
I show these people the music, and they're like blown away. Like, "What? I've never heard garage like this before." Yeah.
I think that the thing is, and look, like Sammy is at the top of the game, and he's sick. I rate him highly, but
for sure, yeah,
it's there's so many incredible artists, producers in that realm that are coming through at the moment. And you know, like I guess I make a bit of that. I like to sort of straddle between house and garage.
There you go, perfect.
But I think Sammy, Fred again, even though I wouldn't necessarily class Fred as like being a garage producer.
No, it's obviously North Americans.
No, of course.
Yeah.
But I think, give it like 3 or 4 years and then those names will start to seed into North America and like, but I mean, some are coming through now, but yeah, there's so many like wicked artists in that realm who are coming through at the moment. Like in Australia, like,
pumping out decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then big shout out to Scott Garcia as well. You know, he's a big name in the game as well, right?
Yeah, mate. So I'm working with him at the moment in terms of Armada, which I'm sure we'll come on to. But obviously, we own. It's a London thing, and we're working on something. But he had me on the show, I think like 3 weeks ago, and he's a legend, like a lovely guy, and he's like literally one of the originators, isn't he?
Yeah, man, it's a lot of things old school, and I had Cash Only on the podcast, and he's I love mate. He's wicked. He's such a nice guy. And
Uh,
he went to me. Oh, you need to get Scott on. I was like, oh, I can do. I'll try. And I've got to message him, but I haven't got around to it yet because Christmas and everything. But yeah, fuck me. Yeah, I think garage is cool, man. And again, like you say, the semi-verges are a different era. You know, I was talking about eras of house like 2000s and 10s and 14s is that era of house. Like,
mm,
like Mark Rough Rider and like, you know, EZ and that were a different era, but they will forever be good garage house, like garage music, you know. So, yeah, I'm a big, yeah, and I love the new stuff as well, I do, but there's so much music out there now. It's like hard to keep on top of it all. Like I used to be able to keep on top of every good sort of artist and famous or up and coming, but now there's so many. It's like it's insane. I don't know how people keep up with it.
yeah, man. Honestly, like I've really struggled to keep up with things. And look, I'm doing music all day, every day, like 16 hours a day involves music. But I heard something recently which is really interesting. I think like a year ago, or maybe even less, I think about a day, 500,000 tracks were uploaded to Spotify. Obviously, a lot of those are AI, which I'm sure we'll come to discussing. But
yeah, I'm new to all this, James. Honestly,
yeah. But I think now it's close to 1 million tracks are being uploaded every day to Spotify, and which is wild. And you know, so many of those will be tracks that are AI or newly or low streaming artists. But I think the expectation now is 20 years ago, 10 years ago, an artist would put out a tune like every 2 months or something. Now it's literally like the expectation that you put out a tune like every 4 to 6 weeks because consumers don't have
attention span, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like you're expected to turn out a tune. So I think that's why like you and I probably miss loads of sick records that are coming out because there's so much of it happening.
Yeah.
You'll never be able to stay on top of it.
So, obviously, you know, you are jack of all trades, as we know, master of none, but could be. That's the old saying, isn't it?
True.
Yeah. So, you know, kind of like when you got into production, you did where did you go and learn your like music production?
I learned it at Northbrook College.
Northbrook College, that was it. Yeah, I couldn't remember it. Sorry, that's why I asked you again. So, like, what kind of things did you learn in that? Like, and how is that different from doing like some of the people's master classes and stuff like that? Learning, what do you think the key differences are between the two?
Do you know what? I think, to be completely honest with you, I didn't learn that much at college. But
just a banner. Again, that's what it is.
Again, yeah, this was my own doing. I think, you know, the fact that you have someone who is at the top of their game and knows exactly what they're doing in the room with you is great. But, you know, for someone who's starting out using Logic, Ableton, whatever DAW they use, it can seem like absolute fuckery, like an absolute mess, like what you're seeing on screen. And I think, what am I trying to say here? Like, I needed to start on the basics more than I did. And I was like, I think there's a beginner entry level which you need to do before you try and start developing stuff, which I didn't do. So I found the whole thing super confusing. I've watched tutorials online and stuff, but the best way that I learn is just trial and error myself.
Yeah, man.
Like, I think, and you know that's the same with a lot of things in this world is trial and error before you develop and get better. But I also find that with a lot of masterclasses or online tutorials, you're copying someone else's experiences, whereas if you try it yourself, you'll learn different things, and you'll make a lot of happy mistakes. And I've seen so many artists over the years refer to a record or something within a track that was a happy mistake, which went on to be one of their biggest tunes. So I think, my sort of advice to anyone starting out in production is just get on it, and just have fun, play
Yeah,
around. Masterclasses are great for certain things, and I think like the basics. But it's so much fun when you're twisting knobs or like pressing buttons that you don't know actually what they do, because you don't know what's going to come of it. That's
yeah.
what
I
I.
watched the. Yeah, sorry, cut you off there. Sorry, apologies. Go on.
No, no, no. I was just saying
Oh,
like that's what I do.
yeah, yeah. Because I watched Deadmau5 in his studio sessions he does, and he got a synth made by a geezer in the UK that makes them in his garage. In his garage. I was going to say garage then. Make him in his. Because I said it earlier. I'll slap myself in the wrist. Like, don't do
Right, yeah.
that. But yeah, I made it in his garage, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
he makes it. They're like, I think they're like 20 to 60 grand, but he makes them all from scratch. They don't make many. And like,
Yeah.
I think I've got his story right. Correct me if I'm wrong. People in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong. But I think he flew to the guy in the UK, and he's in like a countryside town, and
Right.
he was like, I want a synth like this. It's a white one. It's massive. And
Mm.
he bought it, and he brought it back to Toronto where he is. And he said, most of my music, I am just fucking around with knobs. I'm not I'm not doing something that I'm like, I want to make this sound. I'm like, that sounds all right. Kick.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking easy. And then I
Mm.
put it out, and he said, I don't go in like with the mentality of like, I'm going to make this track and I want it to sound like
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
Fisher or Tiesto or I don't know, whatever. He just
yeah.
plays around and just, like you say, trial and error. And he finds the same. He's like, that sounds all right. That's literally word for word what he said.
Mate, like that's the thing. Like with any record, well, most of the records that I've released, I haven't got any music theory, or I never learned instruments as a kid. So like I really struggle to like if there's something I want to make, I wouldn't know how to make it, or like I'm really bad with like chord progressions and stuff. So like I just do stuff until it sounds good, and then like until I'm happy with it, and that's always been the way I work.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't
It's
get me
good.
wrong, like I wish I was someone who had an idea in their head and can sit in front of a keyboard and just play it out. That's something that I really wish I'd done or learned as a kid, but it's too late for that. I ain't got time, or I haven't got the time to learn it. So instead, I'm
Yeah,
just practicing.
yeah. That's crazy. A little bit of mindset stuff then. So what did cause it? Because obviously you did teaching, you did a bit of law and this. What was the actual mind shift and the mindset in your head that shifted where you thought, do you know what? I actually want to fucking pursue this like properly. Like what was like the turning point for you that made that happen?
I guess, as I mentioned with lockdown and starting to make tunes, I started to realize that I could make music, and I can, make somewhat of a career out of this.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, my school were great, and they sort of allowed me to go from 5 days to 3 days a week to do music on the side, because they could see that I really wanted to do that. And then I think it got to like I was 28, I was still living at home in Brighton, and I was like, do I either stay in this job in something that I'm not really enjoying, and just hope that I can do music as a DJ and artist full time and tour and everything, or do I try and get a job in the music industry and sort of go that way? So from that point onwards, I've sort of started looking for jobs in the industry, and then saw a label assistant job at Armada label. Applied for it, and it worked out quite well because Ben Malone, who is the general manager there, he was also at the time a Kiss presenter on a Friday night.
Yeah, Ben
Uh,
Malone, old school. I remember
yeah,
Ben.
yeah, yeah, Ben Malone,
Yeah,
yeah. Um,
yeah.
and he used to play my tunes on Kiss on a Friday.
There you
So
go.
when I applied for the role, he automatically knew who I was, so there was a connection there. So he hit me up. He was like, "Thank you for the application. We'd love to invite you in for an interview." Went for the interview, and then I think about a month later, I sort of heard back, and they were like, "Really appreciate you coming in, but we didn't feel it was right for you. Felt like I was overqualified, maybe." And I just thought, like, oh, it's one of them ones. Like, okay, that's fine. It looks like I'm going to stick to teaching for the foreseeable, and just hope that things with music production develop, continue.
Yeah.
And I sort of accepted that. I was going to continue living at home with my mum. And then about a month later, and a job opportunity came up as A&R. And, I got the email to say, we've just put this out, if you wanted to apply for that. So I did. And then, got offered the job and been there to be 3 years in August now.
Freaking hell, part of the furniture now, aren't you?
Hey, honestly, I can't believe how quickly it's gone.
Yeah.
But look, I mean, it's interesting when people within the industry say to me, like, "Oh, where were you before Armada?" I'm just like, "Oh, well, I used to be a primary school teacher." That's like, wait, what? A massive jump. But I guess having that hobby, which in releasing music and that passion, is essentially what enabled me to get the full-time role with Armada.
That's off to you, mate. Because to be honest with you, I've probably said this a couple of times, and might just bore you with this little story here, but back in 2009, I released my first track, and then after that, I released music, and I was getting played by Roger Sanchez, and my music was getting played back then. You relied on Facebook groups and pages to promote your music. There wasn't TikTok and Instagram, right? I played in Europe, I played all around London, and I supported big massive artists, Claptone and Sam Divine and Sidney Sampson and Mark Van True, all these sort of people. It got to a point where I was driving up London. You probably heard this story loads as well. And I was selling my own tickets to try and get a slot time, even though I had music that was in Beatport's charts and stuff back then. And promoters weren't paying me, and they were like, "No, we're not paying you," because I didn't do well on my night. And I developed a really sour taste for the music industry then, and I knocked it on the head. I was like, I said to my missus, I'm not doing it no more. Like, it's too much. I'm putting so much time in, and not getting nothing back. And now it's a lot easier now because you've got social media, we one night we did really well. I'm not going to say the promoter of the club. We did really well one night, DJ, and we pulled in more in the second room, more people. At the first room, we had Corolla playing in there, and then the promoter said, "I'm shutting your room down. It's making my night look bad." So he shut our room down, and after that, I said to the guys, "I'm out of this now. Like, I still love music and be in it, and I DJ in my house and be a bedroom DJ, but I'm not dealing with this no more. Like, it's just too toxic." So I knocked it on the head, and then obviously I was carried on with work, moved for work, and then I started the podcast in 2020. And I was like, "Do you know what? I still love music. I still want to talk to people about it. I'm a massive geek with it. I can talk the ears off a donkey with it. So, and I still love production and stuff, and that's what, and I started doing a podcast. And I managed to get people on, like Justin Martin at the start, because I knew people like that, and T. Williams, and
Justin Martin's, T. Williams are two examples of people from that era we spoke about earlier.
Yeah, man, and that's what I mean. I was releasing in that era, and I managed to get them in person at a festival in North America. And then now I'm like, I want to get back into music again now, just because releasing stuff again. Because SoundCloud's a lot easier now. You got the distribution of Spotify and things like that. Don't get me wrong, a bit of a granddad with it, but it's not like the old days where you have to hand out flyers and put your flyers up on everywhere and give CDs out and stuff. So,
although people still do hand out CDs and stuff sometimes.
Sick, man. I love that. Yes,
funny one, isn't it? But
don't feel alone.
It all comes back around. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think the thing is, the industry can still be a very toxic place.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've always said this: the people who are friendly, who are approachable, who are respectful, always go further.
Yeah,
You know, and your point about promoters and stuff, like it's still a thing. I had someone, obviously won't mention who, but last year message me. They wanted me to play their night, and they were like, "Yeah, so you need to, like, in order to get paid, you need to sell a certain amount of tickets, like sharing a link and stuff." And I'm just like, this isn't my job.
exactly, man. Yeah,
So it's still happening. I think on one hand, I get it with promoters that the events, like the industry is like fucked in terms of events, and I think smaller venues are struggling, and they're they're having to choose the right artist to ensure they're going to pull in an audience and make ticket sales. But yeah, it's just a difficult time.
yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. Do you know what though, right? Like it's like hats off to you. I feel like pursuing it. I wish I didn't. Now I look back, it's like the hindsight, right? I wish I didn't stop now, but
Yeah,
it's
it was
like
hard.
yeah, and good for you, like for going into it and stuff like that. Like yeah, it's refreshing to see people still want like have that drive to do that and keep pushing forward. Because I'm a culprit for it. Maybe I gave up too soon. I don't know. And the only reason
Yeah,
why I talk about this is because everyone's got a different story, different perspectives of how like you keep on it. But yeah, like I feel like I've found a massive love for production again, in the sense that I've had people offer me free masterclasses that would normally offer to pay. Yeah,
sick.
you pay for and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, I see you getting back into production. I'm happy to give this for free. I'd like to see you do well." And I'm like you say, people being nice and moving
Yeah, yeah,
forward. It's refreshing to see that even later on in the years of doing it, that there's still nice people out there. That, not saying I want everything for free, but like it's nice that people are willing to offer for free. Like
yeah.
I don't expect that from anyone. I'd rather help people in any way I can, but it's still refreshing to hear that. And like you say, so
Yeah, 100%. I think like just to touch on the point of like guy getting a bit older, going, it's been a while. I think now more than ever, like people don't judge you based on your age in the scene as
yeah,
well. So
yeah.
mate, yeah, and also like you're not like 50 or anything, mate. You still
Nah, I'm 36. What are you trying to say, Jamie? Hey, come on, man.
no,
I'm only
no,
36.
that's what I'm
No,
saying.
no.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
like
yeah.
you're not old.
Yeah, I'm
Like
joking. Yeah, yeah.
no, I think a lot of the people who are breaking through now are between 30 and 40.
Yeah, look at
Uh,
fucking Chasing, no, chapter and verse.
Mate, literally was just thinking prime example.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, prime example,
I
man.
don't
Yeah.
know his exact age, but
56
like
as well, yeah. Sorry.
yeah,
Yeah.
mate, Joe Hunt, who's a like garage DJ, he's been in the scene for ages, but like he's now blowing up. He's just done an Australia tour, like nicest guy, makes banging tunes.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it just, I think there was such a stigma for a long period of time that you have to be young and like a good looking geezer or something. I don't know. Or I'm not saying that any of those aren't there, but
No,
like,
no. Or a
but
bit of
like,
grey and all, you know?
yeah, yeah, it's full of lots. But like, you know, I guess like for me, I still think I'm very early on in terms of my like career. Hopefully, and I'm not so concerned now about my age because like I'm gonna keep doing this until I die because I just love music so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, get rich
Like,
or
look
die.
at, yeah, man. Like, for me, like, I like all things music, right? Even like
Yeah,
music for movies and stuff. Like, look at Hans Zimmer. He's still
man.
like doing all the synths and stuff like that, making, electronic music for like movies, and Daft Punk made it for Tron back in the day. Like, do you know
Exactly.
what I mean? Like, that's the shit. I love that stuff, and I wish, you know, uh, I did like do something more like that. But at the same time, that's why I did this podcast. Like yourself, right? You've gone to pursue a career at Armada. Like that's why I
Mm.
do this podcast, because I'd like it to be my full time job, and talk
Yeah,
about music, 'cause that's what I love talking about.
yeah,
But like going into Armada, I guess we'll go into that anyway. But let's start off with a little bit of that because I want to make it more about you than just the people you work for. But going into Armada, like, how was it like in your first day? In the sense that, first of all, what's an A&R? For anyone that doesn't know what an A&R is, what's an A&R? And second of all, what's it like walking in that office thinking I'm the new fuck? Oh shit! Like, all the nerves and that. Like, or do you walk in with the big guns and be like, I'm the G round here?
I think so. Well, firstly, A&R stands for Artists and Repertoire. It is essentially what I like to compare as a football scout or a scout in anything. I guess I look for new opportunities music wise. I try to find potentially the next big artist or the next big single. We work with artists closely, developing them, helping them in their career. Whether that be actually giving feedback on a particular record or putting them in the room with someone else or, collaborations. It's about looking for opportunities catalog wise. So maybe if an artist is the right to reverting back to them after a track was with the previous label, we might look at picking that up. So yeah, I guess when I first heard the word A&R before I'd even had this opportunity to join Armada, I just thought it's literally something where you listen to music all day and you sign music you like, but there's so much more to it. It's a very front and center relationship and contacts and development role. So yeah, that's kind of the basics. There's so much more to it. But yeah, in terms of walking into that office on the first day, massive excitement. Massive
That's
excitement.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think, to finally be doing something that I felt like was where I should be, and like Armada are biggest independent dance label in the world.
For sure, though, yeah.
Electronic dance label. So yeah, I guess for me, like it was super exciting, but yeah, I felt very out of my comfort zone, very out of my comfort zone. And do you know what? I still do it for points today.
That's where you thrive, though, mate. Innit? When you're at that comfort zone, that's when you thrive and have the opportunities, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I think I still am learning every single day, as are a lot of people. I don't think until you work in the industry do you fully understand just how complex and how much there is within it. But yeah.
What expectations did you have or stereotypes you have going into it, and you thought, oh, really, I ain't really like that. Now you're working in it. Like, I know this kind of example. People that all work here are, I don't know, all DJs and whatever. Or, I thought this is how music labels work, but this is how they actually work. Like, what expectations did you have that kind of like knocked you back a bit and surprised you?
I think I could list so much here, but I guess as a DJ producer, as well as working in the industry now, unless you are working in the industry, you will never understand like just how much factors into decisions. So like, I think a lot of artists won't ever appreciate that at the end of the day, every label is a business. And
I was about to say that, yeah.
Yeah, and in order for that label or that business to continue, it's about income. It is at the end of the day, and I think any label, a lot of labels who do this full time, and in order for it to continue, have to have that income. There are a lot of things and decisions that are factored into as to whether a track is signed. And I think sometimes, and this isn't just Armada personally, I think this is a lot of labels, and a producer might send a record in and someone might come back and just say, oh, sorry, it's not for us. And they can't necessarily understand why. But they need to think about everything that comes with it. Like, what, it might not just be because the track isn't good enough. It might be that the track is good, but it's just financially, it doesn't make sense. Um,
yeah.
I think every A&R would like to sign every record that they hear that they really like, but I think it's not always as simple as that.
I've had the same as a similar conversation before with someone. I've met like a bar owner over here that's funny enough English actually, and he does DJ nights, and we were talking about it, and I suppose people like in the state in America as well, and it's like back in the day when you hired the DJ. The DJ was hired to keep people on the dance floor, to keep the drinks going, and that's the business. So
Exactly.
when this is what I said to people, when you've got people that you say like, oh, can I get a DJ set? Well, what do you play? Can you keep on the dance floor? Can you not smash out fucking 127 straight off the bat? Can you warm it up nicely? Can can you bring people in and as a start as the night builds up? Because you are ultimately part of the hospitality business, and you need to learn how to do that. I know you want to get on there and just smash your tunes and see what you saw on Instagram and dominate it, and be like with John Summit. But unfortunately, you've probably been there and I have as well, definitely. You got to start from the bottom and you got to work your way up, learn. Okay, everyone's been dancing for 10 minutes. Maybe I'll just bring down the tune a little bit and everyone go to the bar and get a drink. And then they come back and then another fucking 20 minutes, 30 minutes, they've had another drink. They're a bit more hyped up. Yeah. And you sort of read who's coming in the bar, who's on the floor, and that kind of thing. I think that is very, very I wouldn't say misplaced, but sort of misread or forgotten about.
100%. And I think to add to that, you can always tell when a DJ hasn't done that before in their career. I think as in the warm up, we've all been there. The majority of people, I think, because of TikTok, social media, and certain things, some people might skip that. But most people who have been doing this for a while will have opened a club at 11 p.m. to no one. And that is such an important part of your career. And I still am doing that quite a lot.
I fucking love a warm up set. I'll go through tracks I haven't played in fucking 20 years.
I love to warm up as well. And do you know what? So much harder, I think, to do than when you get on the decks when it's a full room and everyone's already pissed or whatnot, and you can feel the energy. When you can't feel the energy or people are just coming in, and it's like most DJs will read a person's body language as like an indicator of how good things are going, or what's being appreciated. And with the warm up set, it's difficult to do that because there's not many people there. People are coming in the door. So yeah, I think if you have never done a warm up set, I don't think you can call yourself a qualified DJ. Big statement there.
DJ, yeah, you're not the DJ. Yeah. You're not the Kevin and Perry's,
Yeah, but not my DJ. Such a film.
Such a good movie. That's what I tell everyone over is to watch. Like, you need to watch Kevin and Perry. It's all gone Pete Tong before you even talk to me. Let's go, because they're legendary fucking movies. But yeah. So obviously, you got in your first day as A&R. And what's your first sort of day like? What's your job role like? Is everyone kind of friendly? Is everyone kind of like just staying in their own lane? Is it like, the kind of thing like where, okay, you're just doing this at the moment, or showing you the software they use? What's kind of like the start to where it is now?
Embarrassingly, my first day was actually understanding how like a record label worked.
Oh yeah, I thought it was making teas and coffees for everyone.
No, but as in like Ben, my manager, sat me down and he explained like certain things that I just didn't know, and I think a lot of artists don't know, again, unless they work in the industry or they've been doing this for a while. Understanding royalty splits, shares, advances, fees. Like I know terms and like contracts inside out now. I'm pretty sure my first week I was sat down and for like a few hours a day I would just read contracts. So, you know, understanding what the word perpetuity means, I didn't know what the fuck that meant before I'd started working for a label.
And Jamie, enlighten me with it, please. I don't know.
You don't know what it is?
No, I don't.
Yeah, mate. You know, there we go. Perpetuity means like forever.
Oh, okay. Fuck yeah.
So if you sign something in perpetuity, it means that whoever you sign that to owns it forever.
Okay.
Which some labels do. Some labels do like 10 to 15 year licenses, and then you get it back afterwards. But yeah, so like a lot of it was just grasping that, understanding how software works, listening to demos through Label Radar. Because essentially I was just starting from the bottom in terms of like contacts and stuff, and I wasn't getting any emails with demos. So we have a platform where people can upload their demos to Label Radar. So a lot of it was that really, and yeah, sort of developed from there essentially. But I guess in terms of what you said, does everyone work like sort of together or in their own lane? A lot of the A&Rs sort of have their main sort of focus or their particular genre or area, but you know, we all work very closely. There's a lot of members in like marketing, promotion, product delivery of tracks and stuff, radio, DSPs, DSP like Spotify, Apple, and conversations there, pitches. So yeah, we're a very close knit sort of team, that everyone's doing their own thing essentially.
That's one thing I've learned about with labels is that they've got direct contacts to people like YouTube and Spotify and be like, you know, help us get this on. And, you know, that's pretty common knowledge as well now with the way the internet's information is and Reddit and whatever, you know. But in regards to like when you first got your email and no one's sending you tracks and you get your first few, you're like, I want to sign them. Was it like that, or was it like, you know what I mean, or getting your first like 10 tracks and you're like, oh, these are all good, or yeah, what was that feeling like?
To know, like, yeah, that I think it was like, because I'd like to imagine or think that I have a generally good understanding of a good record, you know. And I was hearing these things and I was like, these are actually quite sick. But then I think my ears developed so much more in the past 2.5 years than it did beforehand. So they probably weren't as good, you know. If I heard them now, I probably would be like, no. But equally, like I mentioned before, like it might not just be whether or not you like a track. Like sometimes you'll have an artist send you a tune which sounds cool, but they've got no audience. They've got no fans. You know, they don't use media, and that in this day and age does make things really difficult. And I hate using social media within reason, so it's really difficult for me to say that when I how important it is to labels. But social media is there to be utilized, and some people are great at it. I'm not that great at it, but I'm trying to get better with it. So if you're sending, for anyone listening, like if you're a producer and you're sending tunes to a label, like you need to make sure you have things like Instagram, you need to make sure you have TikTok, you need to make sure you're utilizing those and you're showing things and you're getting traction and you have an audience, people are following you, because that is something that plays into whether or not, you know, or decisions are made on the records being signed.
Yeah, interesting. And like, you know, it's when you're like getting sent music and stuff like that. I mean, I've heard lots of things from all sorts of people. You know, you see it online, people talk about it. You know, but like, what would be the most important factor? Some say, oh, your story, your biography, or description about yourself is important. The music's important, the most important. Other people say to me, oh, the music's most important. No one cares about your social media following or your description of what you've done. But some people like that plays 70% factor in it. So, from your experience, what do you think it is?
In general, outside of working with Armada, I think being in your own lane and knowing exactly what you want to achieve. Sometimes we receive labels, like for example, the Afro House big blow up last year with Kai Music. As soon as that happened, I was receiving like 50 to 100 Afro House demos every week. Obviously, there's the new sort of house minimal UKG sound that's coming through with the Josh Bakers, the Stussies, and whatnot at the moment. And again, everyone's jumping on that. And look, I think it's sick and it's really cool. But I just think a lot of people jump on a bandwagon because they think it's going to get them somewhere quickly.
Yeah.
It's so much more important to stay in your own lane and do what you want rather than trying to follow everyone else.
100%, man. Because I had Kanye Beats on here, old school, absolutely old school, legend, man. And again, we were talking about, we're like, we both made similar sort of house from his track "Know My Name." I was playing that back in 2000, whenever, God knows what.
Yeah.
And I said, we were both on the podcast, both saying like, oh yeah, I still want to make that kind of music, and not everyone's making it, And I've always been the kind of person to make music that isn't the trend. Like whether it's like minimal or like sort of the deep house kind of stuff, but yeah, everyone seems to be following on the tech house bandwagon, and I'm hearing trance is coming back in now because Tiesto is releasing a trance album, and I'm like, oh my god, if it's trance like Moro Picotto and like Armada's original sort of stuff, that's going to take me back. Kevin and Perry go large style, like let's go.
So obviously we spoke about my upbringing and stuff. Like, there was a certain period of time within all that where I was addicted to Ibiza, like trance classics and all that. And I still have hold it very fondly in my heart. Like sometimes I'll just go down like Spotify, like deep dive or whatever, and just end up listening to loads of those tunes because they're sick. I even went to Kevin and Perry at Amnesia last year.
No, you didn't, did you? How was that?
Oh, look, it's actually quite bad, right? Because there's something about Amnesia. Whenever I go there, I get amnesia. Like, I can't remember the night. It's the only club in Ibiza where I have that.
Some fucking voodoo shit going on there.
No, it's probably just because I get too excited and drink too much. But mate, like, it was great. I remember it being really good, and the videos on my phone tell me it was really good. Like seeing Lange play "Follow Me," like,
follow
me, like what's the tune? But like, I don't feel like I fully took it in at the time, so I need to go back again this year, basically. Because they do it like twice a year at Amnesia. I think they do it at the start of the year and then of the season, and then towards the end.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's absolutely quality. But mate, go on, mate. Yeah.
Sorry, I was gonna say like the old days of Pete Tong and Paul Oakenfold. I had the same upbringing as you. My dad listened to the Ministry of Sound annual CDs, the annuals and stuff like that. Ibiza classics, and Carl Cox back then, and Pete Tong and Paul Oakenfold, and I grew up with that sort of music, and yeah, like apparently there's like impersonators or like of Kevin and Perry. They got an Instagram page and they go to Ibiza, and I don't think not many people know who they are now because obviously it was back quite 2000 the movie was made, I think.
Was it?
And I'm like,
fuck hell.
Yeah, and I'm like, I was 10 then. Fuck. I was like, fuck, if no one knows who these are, I'm like, nah, these are legends. Kathy Burke, that was so good, man.
Yeah, one of my favourite tune, I think it's got to be in my like top 5 tunes of all time is Y-Track's "Mystery Land," the Sick Boys Courtyard remix.
Oh, I think,
yeah, that like Kevin and Perry like classic. I'm still yet to hear that in a club in Ibiza. Maybe I did hear it in September and I just can't remember.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think the beauty of Armada as well is we have so many titles from that era, like trance.
I know, yeah,
built on trance.
Armada, have you got like the original vinyls as well? Some of them tracks, like
I'm sure there are some like in the Dutch office. Like,
that'd be so cool.
But I don't personally, but yeah, I've got Chicane, "Don't Give Up."
Oh, that tune is with Brian Johnson.
Yeah, Brian.
Brian Adams. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a Brian Johnson's a health guy. Sorry, Brian Adams. Yeah, yeah, Brian Adams. That's a banging track, man. That Chicane song.
And you know, Offshore by Chicane.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he wrote that about, I don't know if it was about or in, about the Isle of Wight, but everyone thought it was about Ibiza. But it was actually the Isle of Wight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Can't remember if it was about or in, or but yeah, basically it was to do with like the Isle of Wight, not Ibiza, but it just became an Ibiza classic.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So with Armada, then, do you approach the big DJs still, like, or do the big DJs still send you music, like, or is it kind of like, you know what, next year I'm going to release music on you, like, is that kind of how it works with the big guys and ladies?
To be honest with you, it's a bit of both. Like, and this boils down to like relationships. You know, if you've got a good relationship with an artist, a big artist, or the manager of a big artist, and they're confident in what you do, like they will send stuff to you. You know, a lot of people do see Armada as this stronghold. So people like to be affiliated with their records being released by us. But doesn't mean that like we still reach out to big DJs all the time.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Sorry. You know, I think not just Armada, but as a whole, catalog records seem to be being received much better by listeners at the moment. I think that's why you hear so many people putting out tunes that have like a sample of a 90s classic or something.
Yeah,
That's something that we're doing a lot. So, you know, and a lot of big artists will have that connection to an old record and want to put their stamp on it. So that's always a
yeah,
good way to work with someone. You know, for example, Saltwater, Chicane, Claptone did a remix of that recently. So, you know, remix opportunities, it's always great to speak with someone like that. But you know, like in general, yeah, it's always a bit of both, really.
that's cool, man. And also, like, with regards to like music nowadays, do you think like, if you think about it, like, back in the day, everyone was making music in their own vocals and their own sort of style. There was remixes of songs, but it's more from the pop culture. Do you think so many people now are remixing old songs and not creating stuff new and fresh to create like an era?
To create an era, first things first with that, I think it's really difficult to create an era at this current time.
Yeah,
I think because, as we mentioned briefly before, consumers don't have the patience or the attention span that they had 20 years ago. I was talking to someone about this yesterday because of Art, who was in the Armada office, lovely guy, sick producer and DJ. And when we look back on this particular time in 20 years, are we going to sit there and be like, that tune was a classic? Maybe like the odd like Calvin Harris record or something because he's so big, but there's nothing that I would say is like a classic compared to what it was 20 years ago. So I think it's really people to put a stamp on this era. Yeah, like I think like you'll be able to look at genres and say that was a particular time for that genre as an era. Like so,
yeah,
Garrett I think now is having a particular era, this house sound, but I think it's really difficult for an artist to stamp their sort of place with new music now.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and people love listening to old records, and you know they it gives them the sense of a memory or a feeling. Yeah, don't get me
And they
wrong. Oh no, sorry, don't get me wrong. I think it's really important to be making new music and stuff, not just using samples and stuff in the past, but it always happen. Like people sample so much. Like sampling is part of music. Do you know what I mean?
It is for sure, yeah. And that kind of goes on to the next question, like, how does you know, with regards to splice, and this is my personal opinion, I could be totally wrong.
Yeah.
you know, but with regards to like everyone doing masterclasses now of certain labels or artists or whatever, music to me is starting to sound a little bit all the same. And it's because everyone's following, like you've said, like trends. They're following like
Yeah.
styles. They're not creating their own style, like we said. Like you said, stay in your own lane.
Yeah.
You know, I speak to a lot of people, and they're like, "Oh, yeah," and I'm like, it sounds all the same, and everything's overproduced. So like, I was listening to what was I fucking listening to a big artist who was talking about it, and he said we need to strip it back a lot. We're putting too much into it because there's so much readily available, sort of like with Splice, ready available samples. So we throw it all in and think that sounds wicked. We're not stripping it back to the
Yeah.
basics. So how do you find it as like an A&R with like with Splice with all like the same vocals and samples and everything like that? Is it? Do you see a lot of repetitiveness nowadays because there is so much music?
Yeah, I think naturally, like people that have a new Splice, and I'm guilty of this as well,
Same.
will yeah, like look, Splice is great, firstly, for certain things. I think for vocals it's not so much because I use it for production, then I often will know a Splice sample straight away. If I hear it. If it's a big one, like if I hear it and I think that sort of takes away from the record if it's a sample that you've heard in loads of other tracks. Um, I think it's also just about being unique with how you use them and being creative. Like 9 times out of 10, if I make something using a Splice sample, I'll try to make it different to how I received it from Splice. Like I'll take it, chop it up, or I'll pitch it up, or I'll add effects to it to make it different, just so it's more original. Um, but I think producers are becoming a little more lazy, maybe, because it's so readily available, and they'll just take stuff, drag it in, and just send it away to a label, and that sort of devalues it, I think.
Interesting. Because back in 2012, I had a female that I went to school with, and she was a singer. She did her own productions and singing even back
Yeah.
then. And I made a track with her, and she sent me vocals, and I put it on a track, and I never released it. But I sometimes think like, are we like forgetting that there's vocalists out there that want to be featured on these tracks? You know, instead of just using samples, there are singers out there that want to be on tracks
Yeah.
and want to do stuff, and I think we're kind of missing that, and we're kind of forgetting these vocalists, right? Because it's like, oh, it's easy just to get a sample from, I don't know, Wu-Tang Clan back in the day, and pitch it down a little bit or up or whatever, and vice thing. Yeah,
I think people, because they can take something within 30 seconds on Splice, but like 5 minutes if they try and search for it online. But a lot of people would much rather do that than worry about the hassle of trying to find someone and get them in with them. But it's so much more, what's the word? Refreshing, or like fresh to hear someone with a new vocalist that you've never discovered. And as you say, like there are so many people or undiscovered talents who would love to be on a record with people, and it's not even the case of they'd expect you to give them loads of money or anything. It's just more that people want to work with each other. Vocalists want to work with producers.
yeah. I agree, mate. Yeah, 100%. Because I did it back then, and I always look out for vocalists now to be like, oh, see if I can get them on a tune, and sort of talk to people. But it's I think it's forgotten about, which is kind of sad, really. But I mean, going to my next then, like, what would you say like the biggest track you signed is that that was going to be big and it has been big?
It's a good question.
I love throwing questions out here, Jamie.
I'm just trying to think that. I mean, there's been a lot of records that I've signed over the past couple of years. I did a Oliver Heldens High Low remix, actually. which was actually a remix of an old track we owned by someone called Temper, who sadly passed away some years ago. But that was like in the hard house sort of era. And then like Maluji started playing it, and some other artists, and then so in fact, he actually reached out to us and said, "I'd love to remix this," and then we sort of did it, and took a while to get it over the line. But I think that's done pretty well streaming wise and DJ support. What else? Trying to think. I mean, I think the thing is, like, as I'm still a junior, um, my relationships are still sort of developing. I guess I'm not sort of working with the DODs or the Ben Hemsleys or who else? We've got like Andy C. We also work with in the UK.
Oh, Andy C is a legend, mate. His old record, like Ram Records.
Yeah, Ram Records. Yeah. So takes you back.
Oh,
No, good. In fact, I went to see him last year at XOY, which was like, I'm so pleased I took my earplugs because it was just like absolutely mental. But yeah, I guess. Look, for me, I'm still developing, those bigger things. But then you've got people with the company that've been here for a long time and they've worked on some massive tunes. Can't think off the top of my head which ones those are, but yeah. Well, look, you look at DOD's "So Much in Love," which came out 3 years ago now. That entered like the top 40 charts in the UK.
Wow.
I'm not actually sure what that's on streaming wise now. My Spotify's closed, but yeah, that was a massive tune for us.
I was going to ask you, when you go to release a big track for like the label, do you have like a countdown? Like it's like 10, 9, and when it's released, you're like, yeah. Is it like that or no?
You know what? I mean, well, obviously it'll come out at midnight. Like usually I'm in bed by that time, bro. Like, but then sometimes, like, if I'm really excited about something, I'll stay up and like, I want to check what support we've got in terms of DSP editorials and stuff. But generally, I try not to do that because I'm shattered the next day otherwise. But
yeah, it's like on the projection, like turn, with like proper effect, like authentic, like official voice.
Yeah.
What's it like? Obviously, Armada's obviously massive, right? And what's it like now? Because obviously, in the last 20 years, North America sort of catches up with what the UK does. It's pretty prevalent with music, has been since like the 50s and 60s with the Beatles and rock music. But like kind of how is it like dealing with like North American artists? Like the time zone's different, their style of music, and is it a different contract of what it is in different countries, or is it just all the same across the board? Like, how does it work like that?
No, it's generally the same. We work with various North American artists. The time zone,
or just anyone around the world, like kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's generally all the same.
Yeah.
I mean, like time zones can be a fucking nightmare. I think usually if we're in the London team, we're looking at like 5, 6, 7 p.m. sometimes. But most of the time you're in the office till that sort of time anyway. I usually stay a bit later because I like to stay and work on music myself and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's generally fine. We've got like A&Rs in New York, in Amsterdam, in London.
Oh wow.
So, yeah. So our main headquarters is Amsterdam, which is amazing facilities, as well as the London offices, which are brand new.
And that's where trance originated, by my friend.
Exactly, mate.
Yeah, the Netherlands,
Obviously, Armin is one of our biggest artists. He launched Armada 23 years ago, I think. Don't hold me to that. I think it's from. But Armin's like, still a massive touring artist today, releasing music all the time, and it's mad.
Yeah, man. I remember him warming up for Tiesto back in the day.
Did you?
Yeah, like he was like, like I remember him coming up and coming in. It was He did a track with with some chick, and he goes, and it's got like a ooh, I'm ever in love. Like, it's like something like that, and it's got him in it again, again. It's really old, but I remember buying it on CD, yeah, as you do. And I was like, man, fucking Armada is pumping music, you know. And yeah, I remember like the Archie Hamiltons and all them back in the day as well, and yeah, all coming through. And,
oh, hang on, wait. Are you thinking Armin van Helden or Armin van Buuren?
Armin van Buuren.
Oh, yeah, all right. Because I thought you were singing "You Don't Even Know Me."
Nah, nah. I'm not talking New York Armin. Nah.
Mate. But yeah, but like, what's wild for me, mate, is when I went. It. Yeah, maybe it's in that. I went to Creamfields for the first time when I was 17, I think. Obviously this is like talking 13 years ago, and I went to see Armin, and I think they had a State of Trance tent there that year. And then like, it's mad to think like 13 years later that now I'm working for Armin, you know, for 1/3 of the company. It's like mind blowing. It's like full circle. But I mean,
yeah, I'm just trying to find that. I'm trying to find that song. It was it was such a banger, man. I have to send it to you.
Yeah, please do.
Oh, it was good. But yeah, talking like Creamfields and that, like I remember Gay Crasher. Do you remember that? God's Kitchen?
I never went to Gay Crasher or God's Kitchen.
Neither did I, but I had the CDs.
Yeah. I mean, I probably had the CDs. I definitely had some compilations, which were. There was one particular compilation that I like saved my money to buy when I was like 13 or something. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I was cool, man.
But God's Kitchen, they do like a one-off for Amnesia as well.
Like, oh really?
Yeah.
That's wicked.
I think it's like judge stuff. But yeah.
Cool, man. And let's start with like your biggest achievements doing this. Like, what has been your biggest achievements like in the recent years? Like, obviously Armada's one of them, but obviously you did a podcast recently with, correct me if I'm wrong, on Kiss with Scott. Is that right?
Yes.
Or you did like a radio thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what's podcast and radio. It's all the same now. But,
yeah.
Same. You know, and obviously, have you done any sort of radio shows? I think you have, if I remember rightly. You've done a couple of like features or mixes or something.
Yeah, so I used to have a residency on SWU FM, which is like a sick Bristol.
That's right. Yeah, that's the one I'm on about. Yeah.
So I did that for a couple of years. That was sick. But yeah, I guess in terms of like some big achievements for me, I guess early on in the production thing, I had like a track ID on Sarah's Story show on Radio 1, which was always like a big sort of thing to tick off. It's like the one track that like you need to know about. That was really cool. But I'd probably say in terms of like more recent stuff from my own artist profile, probably playing Ibiza last year at Pikes was like a massive like what the fuck moment for me, to be honest with you. Because I've always wanted to play an Ibiza, you know, like it's just what you dream of. Like I got the chance to play at Creamfields as well, which again is like a full circle moment. And like Glasgow. So I think like on the live side last year was like a proper like proud moment for me, I think.
Yeah. How did you get the Ibiza gig, and like what like set time did you play? Did you play during the day, in the evening? Like how was that experience for you getting up there for the first time?
So yeah, I've been to Pikes like a few times before. It's like for anyone who hasn't been to Pikes, it's like, God, have you ever been to Pikes?
No, I haven't, mate. To be fair,
oh mate, you know like the history behind it.
No, I don't.
Oh mate,
well, I know a lot of history about Ibiza. I had the legend Brandon Block on my podcast, which I was legend.
What mate, proper legend. In fact, he's like, I think he lives quite close to Brighton. But anyway, right. So Pikes was founded, I think, in the 1980s by Tony Pike, who essentially moved to Ibiza just like found this like derelict farmhouse in between San Antonio and Playa del Bossa, and he decided that he was going to turn it into a hotel. So he basically built it all himself, like knocked down stuff from like scratch. And I think within like 10 years of it being built, celebrities started to like cotton onto this like really different sort of place you can escape to in Ibiza. And like George Michael was going there, Freddie Mercury, like loads of the people in the like late 80s and the 90s. And then like from there it developed into this sort of hedonistic place you can go and be yourself. And then that sort of history sort of like trickled on, and now it's become like a sort of venue where it's a really small dance floor. It's called Freddie's Room for Freddie Mercury. And anyway, so I got the opportunity to play there in Freddie's Room with Tisha, who's a wicked producer and DJ, who supported my music for like ages and has been a massive supporter over the past few years. Big up to Tisha. But yeah, she did a club night there and basically asked me to go out. And I'd played for her at Phonox, which is a set club in London, a few months prior, and I opened there, which was an amazing experience. I loved it, but obviously it was a warm up, as we spoke about before. And so I thought it would be the same for Pikes, like, you know, warm up the room, get everyone in. But no, she asked me to close the room from 3 until 4 a.m. and just like, it was just so good. Like, it was going into that, being able to play exactly what I wanted to play, probably for the first time in a long time. I know that I had the crowd in the palm of my hand, like, and sort of to step off afterwards and be like, that was probably one of my most favourite sets I've ever played. Closing the iconic Freddie's Room at Pikes in IB for like, that was just a moment I'll never forget. Yeah.
That's cool, mate. Good for you. And
Thanks,
do you know what? Do you know what as well? I've spoke. I used to DJ at a place called Source Bar in Maidstone in Kent.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
Mate, back in the day, I don't want to say it now. Back in the day, it used to have the legends there. It used to have Coxie, Nick Venturi. We had like Anya Schneider, Joy Orbison. We had so many good people there, like unrealistically good people in such a small club. And I speak to big guys, you know, quite not on a regular, but you know, from time to time. And you know, some of them, not all of them, but some of them said to me, "Look, I've played in front of thousands and thousands of people, but I said nothing beats a small room with like 300 people."
Yeah.
You know, you're not on this stage like on a pedestal. You're on the same sort of level, and it's just you know, it's cool. That's what they said to me.
Also, what like we spoke about earlier with like reading body language and stuff is so much easier. I know you actually feel like you're in it with them. It's so much, you get such a better like reaction from the crowd as well when they're up close and like personal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
So what are your future achievements, Jamie? Like, what you got in the pipeline? What are you kind of wanting to, you know, be your next goals that you want to achieve? And yeah, let's hear it.
I think for me at the moment, like I'm working a lot on music. I think I'm trying to find my sound because I still don't think I have that. You know, even after a solid 6 years of putting music out, I still don't fully know exactly what I want to do. So sound wise, so much time focusing on music and where I'm going to put that, or just developing like a big list of music that I'm proud of. That's sort of the thing that I'm focusing on at the moment. This year's gig sort of schedule is looking pretty dry at the moment, but again, like I'm not too concerned about that.
Yeah.
And for now, the music's more important for me. Continuing to sign and work with sick artists with Armada. You know, I like that. I love that part of the job. And just I think just continue to get my name out there and all that. Really, basically.
Yeah, man. Yeah, one of the most important questions I haven't even asked you yet is what door are you using?
Logic, mate.
Logic, old school. I'm using Reason.
What do you use? Reason?
I've been using Reason since version 4, bro.
Hey, well, that's old school, mate.
Yeah, I've got the newest version. Obviously, I'm not using 4 to this
Yeah.
day still. Yeah, but
Thing
like,
is, right,
do you know anyone who uses Reason or not?
mate, do you know what? I actually don't.
No, everyone uses Ableton because all the tutorials are on there.
Yeah, the thing is, right, when I first learned at college, as I mentioned before, I learned on Logic, and then I've only just probably in the past few years felt like I've got comfortable enough with Logic. So to the point where people keep saying to me, "You should move on to Ableton, mate." But I feel like I'll be starting from scratch again.
Yeah,
So I'd
yeah,
much
same for
rather go
me.
with something like Phil. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
have you ever tried to use any other
I
like
used to use
tool?
Logic as well because actually you used to have a thing called Rewire, and you could rewire Logic and with Reason. You could use the two together. Shadow Child does it all the time. He's a Reason user. So is a guy called Gerald. There's loads of big DJs you would not believe that actually use Reason. It's crazy.
Yeah,
But now you've got obviously VST3 like plugin support, so you can do all that now, right? Quite easily. But you used to have to download a thing from Propellerhead, which was Reason's original name, called Rewire. So you could use like the sequencer in Logic, but then you could use your rack in Reason or vice versa, as well. Like
yeah,
but I liked it because I learned how to patch. So like CV voltage. So if you want to control an oscillator, you could like use a
yeah.
bit. You could use a CV voltage from fucking a drum machine to the or whatever. You could just do
Yeah.
it without automatically doing it. You have to manually do it.
Right. Okay. See,
So
the thing is, sorry, this is
yeah.
where my music knowledge is shit. Like, I'm so bad with like hardware and understanding things like that.
But
So like,
that's not the be all and end all because my music theory is shit. Like I started learning piano. Like this is going back to school times, right? Of like what's cool and that. I was learning piano at 7 years old. I was like, Mum, I want to learn the piano. She's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah. So I went around this old lady's house. She had an old piano and she was teaching me. I went to school and they're like, what are you doing playing the piano for? What are you, some sort of like, that's a stupid thing to do, like sort of thing, And I'm like, oh, I won't play this anymore. I'm getting bullied about it. So, I stopped playing it. But now I'm older. I'm like, fuck, I wish I played it. So now I'm going to try and go for piano lessons at a fucking 36-year-old man.
mate, nice because
Yeah.
I wish I had time to do that at the moment, and I'm sure like, mate, you probably do it on tutorials online, but it won't ever be the same. I don't think. Will it? Is actually going.
Nah, I like doing it in person. Like I can't watch tutorials and try and learn production tips.
Yeah,
But again, I'm still learning. I'm still learning everything now. Like I still, it's not only till 3 years ago I really knew what a compressor really did. Like I knew it
mate,
suppressed like certain frequencies, but to
I
like know what
I
to know
still,
what it really does deep down, I'm still trying to understand it. And
yeah, mate. I
yeah,
honestly, I saw Melee, who's a sick producer and DJ. He was just like, been doing this for like 15 years. I still don't know what a compressor does.
yeah,
I don't. I mean, I know the basics, but like if I needed a particular sound or I wanted something particular from a compressor, I wouldn't know what to do.
yeah.
Like I wouldn't know how to fiddle with certain like knobs and stuff to get it to sound a certain way. I just know that if I whack it on something and sidechain it, that it does what I need it to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. You don't need to know everything now, and that's another beauty of it, right? And people can make like massive songs. I think if I heard this right, I may be wrong, but Jamie Jones wrote "Hungry for the Power," I think, in 35 minutes.
Mate, it's mad, isn't it?
Whether that's what I heard. You never know what's true these days,
Yeah.
but that could be true. If it is true, then like some people have said that the best songs in the world are made in an airport while they're traveling or in
So,
in an hour, so
and that also
yeah,
links back to what you were saying about people having too much to their like advantage and chucking too much into a track. You need to
yeah, exactly.
strip things back. And when you listen to "Hunger for the Power," it is a very simple tune, but it's so effective. And
Yeah,
that's
do you know what? Same for I had one of my most favorite producers on my and DJs on my podcast. I managed to get him on when I was in Vancouver when I was there for a bit, and it was Hector, and I got him on. I was like, mate, I fucking love your music. I started
Yeah.
listening to him when he was on Loco Dice's label on Desolat on the first
Yeah.
X sampler, and I spoke to like Gooty, and I was like, mate, I've been listening to your music since the track with Amphia called Option One, and I said that is the most grooviest bass line I've ever heard in my life, and
Yeah.
he was just like, thanks, man. I was like, to this day, it's a simple song, but it's like the most effective song, like Hungry for the Power. The same with
Yeah.
like Yulo Bashmore, All Sieve is another one.
What a
That, that
tune.
that's another one as well. You're just like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? And
Even
it's
like Battle for Middle You. Was it Battle for Middle You? Yeah, like one digga digga that Bashmore tune. Like it's
yeah,
relatively straightforward, but just like I think the more simple a track is, like more often than not better. Yeah, and I've really struggled with that with production.
yeah. And
Yeah.
another duo that I absolutely fucking loved was No Artificial Colours. Do you remember them?
Mate, I actually don't think I do. No artificial colours.
Oh yes, man. Look up their song with Alex Mills. Unreal. I've been listening to their stuff. That's when I was like making music around that time. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Look, mate, what which tune is it?
Oh, look
Crime
up
Crime Wolf.
Crime Wolf. That song is unreal.
Yeah, sick. Mate,
And
I,
it, they remixed Benediction of Hot Natured as well.
how do I not know
Back
about
in,
these guys?
this is why I love doing this podcast, Jamie. I love sharing music and I love
Yeah,
experiencing it. And yeah, yeah, yeah.
sick. Oh yeah,
It's
Benediction. That's mad. I'll check them out
yeah.
probably. But mate, Alex Mills, she's been around for ages. Like she's still
I know,
smashing it.
man.
Right,
I
it's
know.
great to
I
see.
know. I'd love to get her on my podcast as well. It'd be fucking phenomenal. But yeah, there's a lot of them tracks, man. Just like I still listen to Star, I still play them in some of my sets. If I
Yeah.
do DJ, I'm just like you can't beat them. But I've got a question for you. So obviously being an A&R, and you
Mm.
mentioned that there's like a million tracks uploaded every day on Spotify. Was that right when I said that? Did I
Yeah,
hear
yeah,
right?
yeah.
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 You said a lot of them are AI. How do you cipher through the AI and the real ones, and how do you know? And is that the biggest challenge with labels these days?
I think obviously AI has been adapting and improving, and AI in music, as far as I'm aware, wasn't really a thing until the past 6 months to a year. I could be completely wrong there, but
Mm.
um, I think it was probably easier to hear AI in records a little while ago, but like the technology is just improving every day. It's short answer. I think it's really difficult to know, and I think sometimes you have to just be upfront with who. If you're getting sent a demo and it's got AI, just ask, is this made using Suno or AI? And you'd hope that they would be honest
What
with
one was that? Sooner?
it.
Joking.
Yeah, you'd be like hopeful that they'd be honest about it. Do you know what I mean? But we do have to acknowledge and accept that AI is a part of music moving forward.
Yeah, yeah,
At the moment, it's a little bit of a grey area in terms of the legal side of it and what you can use. But I guess I saw recently the Bandcamp are banning AI music on there. I'm not sure how they detect that. Maybe they have some sort of software that detects it. And I think Spotify and other DSPs are talking about demonetizing records that have multiple AI uh, stems or parts within a track. I think if
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's a vocal only, then I think you might be okay. But look, it's a grey area that's going to be looked at a lot over the next year, and who knows where it will be in terms of legislation and stuff this time next year.
Yeah, that's another thing. Going back onto like producers looking for AI can actually mimic like a lot of vocalist singers now, like on a
Yeah,
good level, with harmonic kind of voice. And
yeah,
I think like that's putting vocalists, which is very hard in this day and age anyway, of electronic music dominating the music industry. but it's very hard for them to get noticed even more now. And that's why I'm like, you know, producers should be using like literal, like actual vocalists instead of like trying to find it on AI and stuff. But you know, but it's you know, as not just Armada, I mean, just in labels in general, but you know, your opinion. But how do you find it now with regards to that happening, social media and everyone? Because you used to rely on the label to promote the music and the artist, but now everyone's got social media and Bandcamp, and they have distribution sites like DistroKid and Lander. And how do labels like, you know, sort of cope and deal with that now, with this uprising that?
In terms of like people like releasing their music elsewhere or like doing it,
yeah, individually now, yeah, because some people are like, well, I'm not getting accepted by a label called Joe Blogg's label, but I can do it on my own. I've got a good following on Instagram. You know, do you think that people are more going that way? Like, I don't know, as an industry as a whole, like, how's the sort of spectrum moving for that?
I think, you know, certain like artists are doing that 100%, but I think what they lose in that is like the certain connections that labels do have. You know, like DSPs, like Beatport, for example, radio. I think if you know, there's so much more to it, marketing opportunities. I think if you're a smaller artist and you're doing that, you're going to lose out on things in that respect. Get me wrong, of course, you can use like DistroKid and things like that to get your music out there, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing to do that for certain artists. But you do lose the value of having the connections and everything that a bigger label has built over a period of time. You know, and that's why people do continue to use labels, because of the services they can provide that they wouldn't elsewhere get elsewhere.
Yeah. That's good advice, yeah, because a lot of people, you know, I speak to people when I go out in clubs and stuff, and you know, some people say I'm just stuck. I don't know what's best, you know, and people say this way, people say that way. So I like to ask the question, especially you know, being in that realm of just like what your advice would be, because you know, people sometimes get a bit stuck at the crossroads, you know, or the.
Honestly, I think my advice to new artists or artists who aren't very far into their career, I think it's always good to self-release some music, you know, at the start when you're trying to develop that audience and you're trying to get listeners, I think. And also just like putting tunes on SoundCloud, as we spoke about earlier, make edits. Like I made an edit of a Missy Elliott track in 2023. Again, I made it in like a day, in like 2 hours, put it on SoundCloud just because I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna show people that I'm on it this year. And that like arguably went on to be like one of my most well received tracks, like got played by so many DJs. Like Radio 1, we tried to get it cleared officially. Missy Elliott's team said no.
Boo.
Yeah, mate, it was once in a while, someone from the other side, like the writer, said yes. So we were like, okay, sick. And then Missy's team were like, nah. So that was that. But like that, making edits and sticking them on SoundCloud, on TikTok, on Instagram, like it's easy to do. Just do it. Like it can help you on the journey in a place where it's harder and harder to get harder and harder to get recognized. Doing things like that is great.
And what kind of things do people need to do now, instead of acting like an idiot on social media, to stand out with their music? You know, like I know I follow a page called Marco Carolia.
Oh, he's so funny.
That fucking page does me every time.
So funny, mate.
I've never ever commented on videos in all my life until I saw that page. I'm like, oh, I was going to do something like on my podcast page. I was like, no, I'm not going to be that. And then I saw that. I was like, okay, well, I'll at least comment.
Yeah, he is so funny, mate. I think let me think about this. It's really difficult, right? Because dancing around on your social media and stuff, it works, yeah? And I don't think there's anything wrong with doing it if you feel comfortable doing it, and I think more people should feel comfortable to do that if they want to do it. I really struggle with it on a personal level, and
Same.
even though I'm trying to get better with it, I just can't seem to get past it. But look, I'm trying. I think another way to get noticed, or not just social media, is just get out there and meet as many people as you can. Like, and this isn't just in terms of releasing music. I've said this before. I said on Scott Garcia's show, he said, "What's one piece of advice that you can give to anyone?" And it is the industry is all about relationships and networking. Like, one of the first tunes that I released on a personal level that was track ID on Sarah's show was the drums, which Dance System signed to his label because I sent it to him. And that was because of a relationship that I built. And then from that, I got other opportunities. So I think, yeah, I'm waffling, but like, do all that stuff on social media. But whilst you're doing that, get out there and meet people, or like even on social media, meet people, follow people, message them, comment on their stuff, be nice to people. That is the most important thing to get you noticed.
Yeah, exactly, mate. For me, as you probably tell, I love banter. So it's all, it's all about the banter and just having good times, right? And just, shooting the shit. And, it's kind of, I'm going to chuck this in quickly, but talking about vocals and stuff, I remember, was you a big drum and bass follower back in the day, or do you follow much drum and bass?
I respected it. I wasn't ever a big fan. I was a Liquid D&B fan for a while.
Okay, yeah.
From uni, but like certain D&B, like I don't know if you'd class some of the old Chase and Status stuff. Subfocus's first album was massive for me, but that was a bit of everything. Like Netsky, loved, but yeah, it was quite limited. I think Fred V and Graphics, that sort of era for me.
Yeah. I was into like the jump up original, like of Original Sin, Magistrate, DJ Hype, and people like that. But here's the thing: so a lot of them producers and a lot of old school sort of house music producers as well used to use movies like quotes in their songs. And I actually made a song with Samuel Jackson from Pulp Fiction.
Oh, sick! Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't do that anymore. And a lot of like I was watching Original Sin and Original Sin. Yeah, he used to watch old like kung fu movies. I think he'd probably see this and be like, "You're totally wrong, Brad." But they used to use like old kung fu movies, and they have like sound effects and the voice of this, that, and the other, or old like that sort of stuff, and a lot of they used to sample stuff from movies, and that for me is unreal. Like I had Jordan Peak on my podcast, and he said he revolves a lot of his music around movies and how movies are laid out, and he makes his music similar to sort of like that. Yeah, because the movie is a build up of a story, and he said I'll make my music around that with a punchline at the end. Yeah.
You know what? There's I can't remember what it's called, but there is a website you can use. And like, let's say, for example, you wanted to use the word, I don't know, like bang bang or something, like or I don't know, or like let's find him, for example.
Yeah.
Type in that, and then it will come up with loads of movies, clips from those movies where it's said, and then you can just download them. So
cool. What's that called?
I don't know what it's called. Like, hang on, let me have a quick look.
That's not my interest. That is, Jamie. Thank you.
I'll send it to you after.
Yeah. Send it.
I don't know what it's called, but it must be something like I don't know, like movie quotes, like samples or something.
Yeah. That's cool. Is there anything else you want to sort of brush up on with any more advice you'd like to give to anyone, or anything you'd like to share and plug about yourself, or up and coming sort of releases you're looking at that you can tell about? Yeah, people on your radar.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Well, I mean, the first thing that thing it's really important to stress is it took me a long time to get into this role or the position I'm in now, even though I had a massive desire and love for music for a long time, but that's just because my confidence wasn't there and I never thought I'd be able to achieve anything in music. So, you know, for anyone who might be listening, if you've got a dream, whether that be in music or not, like go for it, because it's not going to wait for you. Like just go for it, because if you want something enough and you work for it, like you'll get there. I think that's a really important point to make personally. But yeah, apart from that, what can I shout about? Some artists that I'm really excited about at the moment. A guy called Mechanics, who's sick.
Mechanics, yeah.
Mechanic, yeah, Muckaniks. He's like, yeah, a newbie coming in. He's making sick music. Another guy called Shuffer.
I do
Yeah, I
wonder
mean,
where they get these names from. I do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Loads of other people that I can't think of off the top of my head. Because I listen to so much different music. Is there anything I need to plug? I've got a tune coming out with Justin J, who's a wicked North American
Oh,
artist.
sick. Yeah, I know Justin
Yeah.
J. Yeah.
That I'm not sure when that is, but that should be coming out soon. And just working on getting other bits finished, to be honest with you. Not too much to shout about apart from that, but just, yeah.
That's cool, mate. Cool. Yeah, and is there anything else you want to plug, or you know, you good to go?
I guess, well, my socials, so Instagram, JamieUnknown_. You can find me on SoundCloud, obviously Spotify, Jamie Unknown. I think that's kind of it, to be honest with you.
Cool, man. Cool.
Yeah, no, big up. I appreciate you having me on, and I hope it's been a good insight into a bit of me in the industry and whatnot.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it's good to know about your upbringing and stuff, and just your journey, your story. It's been a good listen to. You know, it's quite refreshing to hear that he has the same sort of thing as me. My dad played the CDs and all the music and that, which is kind of cool to hear. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed coming on. I hope I did a good job, you know, asking you questions and stuff. So I'm still learning every day. I'm still trying to figure out how to be the next Joe Rogan. I don't know if that's going to work, but probably lose hair first. That's one of the chances, and lose some inches in height. But yeah, other than that,
no, mate. Honestly, thank you so much. I think, you know, it's great to be able to talk with someone like-minded and someone who's a bit of a geek in terms of the music and, you know, loves everything on that side of things. So it's great, and no, I really appreciate it.
Sweet, mate. I appreciate it, and yeah, mate, I'll keep in contact. Cheers.
Big ups. Thank you, mate.